In a far-off kingdom, there lived a man named Kael. He was a good man, with a gentle wife and a heart full of hope, but his pockets were always empty. They lived in a small hut, and some nights, the sound of their own hunger was the only thing that filled the silence. The king of that land was a man of quiet wisdom. He believed a ruler's duty was not to sit on a throne, but to walk among his people. So at night, disguised as a simple traveler, he would wander the streets, listening to the true heartbeat of his kingdom. One moonless night, the king passed by Kael's small hut. He heard a woman's soft, worried voice. "We have nothing left. What will we do now?" A man's voice, full of tired hope, replied, "Do not worry. Our king is a kind man. Tomorrow I will go to the palace. With just a little help, we can start a small business and earn our way." The next morning, Kael stood before the king. The king recognized him instantly, and, his heart moved with compassion, he gave Kael a heavy chest filled with gold coins. Kael returned home, his heart soaring. That night, he and his wife dreamed of a brighter future and slept with peace in their hearts. But when they awoke, a cold dread filled the air. The chest was empty. Every single coin had vanished, yet the doors and windows were still bolted from the inside. Confused and heartbroken, Kael returned to the king. The king, surprised, gave him a second chest of gold. But the next morning, the same mystery occurred. The gold was gone. A third time, Kael approached the king. A third time, the king gave him a chest of gold. But this time, the king's wisdom demanded an answer. That night, he hid in the shadows outside Kael's hut. Around midnight, a strange, shimmering shadow slipped through the walls of the house and emerged moments later, carrying the chest of gold. The king, his sword drawn, stepped into the light. "Who are you?" he demanded. "Why do you steal from this honest man?" The shadow turned, its voice like the rustling of dry leaves. "I am this man's destiny. He is fated to be poor, for this is the harvest of a past life's karma. No matter what you give him, it will always be taken away." The king stood his ground. "Tell me why. What did he do that his fortune is a locked cage?" "I cannot," Destiny whispered. "But if you wish to know, you must travel to the village at the foot of the mountains and find the oldest man who lives there. He will tell you the story of a man named Marco." And with that, the shadow dissolved into the night, taking the gold with it. The king rode through the night, and by morning he found the oldest man sitting under a great tree. "He have come," the king said, "to hear the story of Marco." The old man's eyes grew sad. "Marco," he began, "was the richest man this land had ever known. He lent money to the poor, not to help them, but to trap them. His terms were a spider's web, and once caught, no one could escape. One year, a terrible drought came. A poor farmer who had already paid Marco far more than he had borrowed could not pay the interest. Marco, without mercy, took his land, his home, his everything. The farmer, his heart broken, soon died of grief. And Marco, a few years later, died suddenly, his vast fortune unable to save him from his own bitter soul. The king finally understood. The cruel Marco had been reborn as the kind but unfortunate Kael. He returned and told Kael the entire story. Kael listened, tears streaming down his face, not for the lost gold, but for the forgotten crime of his past self. From that day on, he did not ask for help. He worked as a laborer, and with the little he earned, he made a choice. He began to help others who were hungry, sharing what little he had. He began to plant new seeds of kindness. Months later, the king summoned him and gave him a chest of gold for the 4th time. Kael accepted it, not with excitement, but with a humble heart. And this time, the shadow never came. The gold remained. The lesson. Your life today is an echo of your actions yesterday. This is the law of karma. What you plant, you will harvest. The past may have decided where you stand today, but your actions in this very moment decide where you will stand tomorrow. Destiny is not written in the stars. It is written by your choices. You hold the pen. From this very moment, you can begin to write a new story for yourself. This is Narratives of Wisdom. Please like and subscribe for more interesting stories.